This is a CBS News special report. I'm Charlie Rose with Norah O'Donnell in New York. President Obama is about to make a statement from the White House briefing room about the crisis in Ukraine. A short time ago, he joined European allies by imposing sanctions on Ukrainian and Russian officials. They include top advisor to Russian President Vladimir Putin and deposed Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych.
The sanctions follow yesterday's vote in Crimea to break away from Ukraine and join Russia. Bill Plante is at the White House. Bill, good morning, and who is targeted?
Good morning, Nora. They're targeting 11 individuals, all of them close cronies of President Putin. Some of them are what we normally describe as oligarchs. The point is to send a message that this will be only getting worse if this continues. The U.S. is also ridiculing yesterday's vote by suggesting that some ballots went to Crimea were pre-marked in favor of Crimean secession. And they note that 96.8% of the ballots were for secession. Even though there is a large Russian-speaking population, they're suggesting that that seems a little bit much. They made it very clear that the point is that there is still a diplomatic doorway open, but that if it is not taken by Russia, that the sanctions will only continue, that there will be more people named, that there will be more assets frozen. So the idea is to do what the U.S. can do. And here's the president.
Good morning, everybody. In recent months, as the citizens of Ukraine have made their voices heard, we have been guided by a fundamental principle. The future of Ukraine must be decided by the people of Ukraine. That means Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity must be respected, and international law must be upheld. And so Russia's decision to send troops into Crimea has rightly drawn global condemnation. From the start, the United States has mobilized the international community in support of Ukraine to isolate Russia for its actions and to reassure our allies and partners. We saw this international unity again over the weekend when Russia stood alone in the UN Security Council defending its actions in Crimea. And as I told President Putin yesterday, the referendum in Crimea was a clear violation of Ukrainian constitutions and international law, and it will not be recognized by the international community. Today, I'm announcing a series of measures that will continue to increase the costs on Russia and on those responsible for what is happening in Ukraine. First, as authorized by the executive order I signed 2 weeks ago, we are imposing sanctions on specific individuals responsible for undermining the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and government of Ukraine. We're making it clear that there are consequences for their actions. Second, I have signed a new executive order that expands the scope of our sanctions. As an initial step, I'm authorizing sanctions on Russian officials, entities operating in the arms sector in Russia, and individuals who provide material support to senior officials of the Russian government. And if Russia continues to interfere in Ukraine, we stand ready to impose further sanctions. Third, we're continuing our close consultations with our European partners, who today in Brussels moved ahead with their own sanctions against Russia. Tonight, Vice President Biden departs for Europe, where he will meet with the leaders of our NATO allies, Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And I'll be traveling to Europe next week. Our message will be clear. As NATO allies, we have a solemn commitment to our collective defense, and we will uphold this commitment. Fourth, we'll continue to make clear to Russia that further provocations will achieve nothing except to further isolate Russia and diminish its place in the world. The international community will continue to stand together to oppose any violations of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity. And continued Russian military intervention in Ukraine will only deepen Russia's diplomatic isolation and exact a greater toll on the Russian economy. Going forward, we can calibrate our response based on whether Russia chooses to escalate or to de-escalate the situation. Now, I believe there's still a path to resolve this situation diplomatically in a way that addresses the interests of both Russia and Ukraine. That includes Russia pulling its forces in Crimea back to their bases, supporting the deployment of additional international monitors in Ukraine, and engaging in dialogue with the Ukrainian government, which has indicated its openness to pursuing constitutional reform as they move forward towards elections this spring. But throughout this process, we're going to stand firm in our unwavering support for Ukraine. As I told Prime Minister Yatsenyuk last week, the United States stands with the people of Ukraine and their right to determine their own destiny. We're going to keep working with Congress and our international partners to offer Ukraine the economic support that it needs to weather this crisis and to improve the daily lives of the Ukrainian people. And as we go forward, we'll continue to look at the range of ways we can help our Ukrainian friends achieve their universal rights and the security, prosperity, and dignity that they deserve. Thanks very much. And Jay, I think we'll be available for questions. Thank you.
Sanctions.
And there you see President Obama appearing in the White House briefing room there to announce that the United States government has broadened sanctions against Russian officials. In fact, what a senior official called Russian government cronies. In one official's words, people very close to Vladimir Putin in the wake of this vote in Crimea. This means banning visas, other economic sanctions, and as the president mentioned, the vice president is on his way to confer with NATO allies. We want to go now to Elizabeth Palmer because she is in Simferopol, Crimea. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning. Nora, the people of Crimea are going to be watching this very closely. There was a great euphoria here yesterday when it looked as if Crimea would join Russia, but it does appear as if it's going to mean some pain along the way. Although the financial sanctions from the West on Russia are just beginning, the Ukrainian banks have already started turning off the taps for money down here in Crimea. So people are having trouble getting enough money out of the banking machines. A lot of them are empty. Businesses can't get credit cards to work anymore. I think it's just a little glimmer of realization here that getting to join Russia, if that's indeed where we're going, could in fact be very painful indeed. Nora, Charlie?
Elizabeth, thank you. Our coverage will continue throughout the day on this CBS station, online at cbsnews.com, and tonight on the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley. Many of you will return now to CBS This Morning. This has been a CBS News special report with Norah O'Donnell. I'm Charlie Rose, CBS News, New York.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com.